Have you ever stopped to think about what success means to you? We're often chasing goals that aren't really ours. Society tells us what we should achieve: a good job, an expensive car, a big, beautiful house. But do these really reflect what makes us feel fulfilled? Today, I want you to reflect on your personal concept of success. I remember a time in my life when I thought that success was equal to status and recognition. I pursued these goals, but deep down, something always seemed to be missing. I had that nagging feeling that even if I reached the expected milestones, I still wasn't satisfied. This led me to ask myself, what really brings me happiness? Perhaps you felt this too, a sense of emptiness, even after achievements. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that success is related to what we see on social media or what others expect of us. Constant comparison can make us feel like we're falling behind, like life is a race and we're losing. But what if I told you that true success has nothing to do with what others think or what society imposes on us? Think of a time in your life when you felt really successful. I'm not talking about great achievements like getting a promotion or buying something new. I'm talking about moments when you felt you were exactly where you should be. Maybe it was a quiet day when you connected with yourself, or a heartfelt conversation with a friend. Success doesn't have to be something grandiose or material. To help explain this, imagine success as a garden. Each person has their own garden to cultivate. Some may plant bright, eye-catching flowers, while others prefer aromatic herbs that not everyone can see from afar but bring subtle benefits. Success is like that. It can be silent, invisible to the eyes of others, but deeply meaningful to you. Just like in a garden, you need to choose the plants that make sense for your plot. There's no point in trying to grow something just because it looks nice in your neighbor's garden. What works for someone else may not work for you, and that's completely fine. Success is something that grows over time, as you take care of what really matters to you and not to others. This cultivation process involves patience and self-knowledge. You won't always see results immediately, and that's fine. Sometimes you have to wait a whole season for a seed to germinate. Likewise, your personal success goals may take a little longer to blossom. The important thing is to be clear that you are on the right path, tending your garden and not trying to compete with others. But what happens when you realize you've been tending the wrong garden? Perhaps you've spent years pursuing something that deep down doesn't reflect your true values. This is a difficult moment, but also a crucial one. It's at this point that we begin to see what really matters. And this realization can be the key to a radical change in our concept of success. The good news? It's never too late to start again. Many of us face the fear of admitting that the path we've followed so far may not be the right one. The fear of failure. But I want you to see this not as a failure, but as an opportunity to redefine your priorities. The incident that leads you to question your choices may be the greatest chance of success you'll ever have. And it's this redefinition that we're going to talk about from now on. Now that we've begun to understand that success is a personal thing, let's explore the impact of living with this misconception for so long, just as I did. When we are stuck with imposed definitions of success, we often carry an invisible weight. This can create constant pressure to achieve standards that, deep down, don't belong to us. And this pressure can leave us exhausted, frustrated, and even demotivated. Answer me. How many times have you felt like this? I've experienced this feeling of constantly running after something, only to realize that I was never truly satisfied. And I believe that you too may be experiencing this cycle. The incessant search for more money, more recognition, more achievements, can take us away from what really matters. What we often forget is that we don't need to prove anything to anyone but ourselves. When we talk about personal success, we need to ask ourselves, why am I pursuing this? If the answer is based on pleasing others or meeting external expectations, perhaps it's time to reevaluate. Real success comes from a place of authenticity, and this is only possible when we are aligned with our own values. However, we often get lost in a sea of expectations without knowing for sure what really motivates us. At this point, I want to bring up something important. Success is more about the journey than the destination. Think of it as a long road. If you're only focused on the end point, you'll miss out on the beauty and learning along the way. Success is not something you achieve all at once, as if it were a finish line. It's something you build day by day with every little decision and action you take. What if true success doesn't lie in achieving a specific goal, but in being true to yourself along the way? When we look at success as something that is constantly evolving, we stop punishing ourselves for not being where we should be. Success becomes a reflection of our personal growth, rather than a fixed goal to be achieved. The question is, how can we align this new vision with our daily lives? From this point on, I want you to start thinking of success as a daily practice. It's not about some distant future achievement, but about the small steps you take every day towards something that really matters to you. Success can be as simple as fulfilling a commitment you've made to yourself, such as dedicating time to a hobby, taking care of your mental health, or simply being kind to yourself. Imagine that each day is a page in a book that you are writing. Every little choice is a sentence that makes up the story of your life. Instead of waiting for the grand finale, why not start valuing each of these sentences? True success lies in living with intention, being true to your values and principles, and not in accumulating trophies or external approvals. This transforms the idea of success into something much more tangible and applicable to everyday life. When you change this perspective, you realize that you can be successful every day, simply by being authentic and living according to what you believe in. This doesn't mean that great achievements aren't important, but that they aren't the only measure of success. The real turning point comes when we understand that success is not something that happens out there, but something we feel inside. It's a sense of purpose and connection with what we do. Now that this new vision has been presented, you may be asking yourself, how do I start applying this to my life? The first step is to be honest with yourself about what really matters. Ask yourself, what are my priorities? What makes me feel complete? These answers aren't easy, and it can be uncomfortable to confront the truth that perhaps what we're looking for isn't making us happy. But this honesty is necessary to build an authentic life. It's important to note that this transformation doesn't happen overnight. Redefining success is an ongoing process. It's a journey that requires patience and, above all, compassion with yourself. It's not about changing everything at once, but about making gradual adjustments. With each step you take towards what really matters, you begin to feel a deeper and more lasting sense of fulfillment. And this is what prepares us for the next big step, resolving that inner conflict that is eating away at us. Now let's explore how this new vision of success can really transform your life. Imagine that from now on you start to focus on the small victories of everyday life, the ones you previously ignored. Every small decision you make, aligned with your values and your personal vision, begins to create a positive impact. Success stops being a distant goal and becomes a daily practice of self-care and authenticity. The culmination of this journey is when you finally realize that the power to define your success has always been in your hands. It's not other people's opinions, comparisons, or external standards that determine your worth. Success is being at peace with the path you have chosen to follow, even if it is different from what others expect. This revelation brings a sense of freedom, because now you know that you don't have to chase after a definition of success that isn't yours. And from this new perspective, you can start building your life more lightly, focusing on what really matters. When you free yourself from the need for external approval, you start to value your own achievements more, however small they may seem. That little moment of peace after a hard day, or the simple fact of dedicating time to something you love, all become part of your personal success. The pressure eases and you reconnect with your true essence. Here's the pinnacle. True success is not an endpoint, but the ability to live authentically, day after day. When you understand this, the internal conflict is resolved. The anxiety of reaching the pinnacle disappears and gives way to a sense of gratitude for the present. Every moment becomes an opportunity for success, simply because you are living according to what you believe. This is the transformation that changes everything. Now that we've come to a conclusion about what success should be for you, it's time to talk about the practical consequences of this new way of looking at success. When you redefine success in a personal way, you start to notice subtle changes in your daily life. You stop beating yourself up so much and start celebrating your small achievements more. Stress decreases and things that once seemed unattainable now seem closer. Success stops being a mountain to climb and becomes a constant companion on your journey. What's more, you begin to realize that you don't have to follow anyone else's pace. Your success doesn't have an expiration date, and it doesn't have to happen in the same way or at the same speed as it does in other people's lives. This gives you room to grow in your own time, to learn from your mistakes, and to embrace your achievements, however simple they may seem. You stop competing with others and start focusing on improving yourself day after day. A natural consequence of this change in mentality is self-confidence. When you start living according to your own values, you become more confident in your choices and decisions. After all, you're building your life on something genuine, something that really makes sense to you. And this confidence is reflected in all areas of your life, from the way you deal with challenges to the way you relate to others. But it doesn't stop there. By redefining success, you also impact those around you. Your authenticity inspires others to do the same. They see that it is possible to be successful without being bound by rigid standards or external expectations. Little by little, you begin to create a circle of positive influence, where success is seen in a healthier and more balanced way. This is one of the greatest rewards of living authentically, the positive impact you have on others. Now I want to invite you to reflect. What does success mean to you at this point in your life? If you could define success in one sentence, what would it be? I know this can be a difficult question, but it's an essential one. Because when you define your success clearly and honestly, you have a guide to guide your decisions and choices. This definition doesn't have to be definitive. It can and should evolve as you grow. But having this clarity is already a big step. So I challenge you to redefine your success today. Think of one thing you can do, however small, to start living more in line with your values. It could be dedicating time to something you love, disconnecting from social media for a while, or simply practicing gratitude. Small actions like these, done consistently, have the power to transform your life in a profound and lasting way. Finally, remember, success is not something you find out there, but something you create within yourself. It is the result of living an authentic life, true to your values and passions. It's not about accumulating achievements, but about feeling good about yourself, knowing that you're on the right path. So take a deep breath and start writing your own definition of success. There's no rush. What matters is that you are finally living according to what makes sense to you. And most importantly, don't forget to like, share this video, and subscribe to the channel.